As the business landscape undergoes seismic shifts, companies are entering an age when only a clear vision of the future will ensure their survival. The conventional concept of corporate value is in the midst of being updated. We go to the front lines of this movement. An integrated report is a corporate report covering a broad range of topics. From financial information such as sales and assets to the future envisioned by a company. The primary reader of such reports is the institutional investor. Typically, investors reference financial information to determine a company's value. But the integrated report is a report that provides both financial as well as non-financial information, hence the name, Integrated Report. In recent years, investors are said to be increasingly focused on the non-financial information of companies. Integrated reports are attracting attention as a new channel of corporate information. How exactly are they compiled? To find out what happens on the ground, we focused on one company.
Good morning. I'm Serita of NYK Line.
NYK Line was established in 1885 and is a major marine transport company supporting Japanese industry through shipments of products such as energy resources and cars. On this day, Noriko Serita has traveled from corporate headquarters in Tokyo to the Akita office as part of her work compiling their integrated report. In April, NYK Line opened a domestic office, the first in 59 years, in Akita, and signed a comprehensive partnership agreement on regional revitalization with the prefectural government. Behind these moves is a project they're currently carrying out in Akita.
Why did you come to the Akita office?
Akita is a major center for offshore wind power generation. And I wanted to learn about the progress of this project and include that in our integrated report.
Tatsuya Shimomura heads the Akita office and is the local supervisor of the project launched by the company. On this day, Mr. Shimomura and Ms. Serita head to a certain location that will be featured in the integrated report. They arrive at an observatory in Kampuza, which looks out across the Oga Peninsula and Sea of Japan.
It's very beautiful.
Very breezy. I wanted you to feel the scale and potential of the wind power generation facilities we have right now. The offshore project we're working on now will be set up further out in the sea, where there's nothing now. The wind turbines will be constructed about 2 kilometers from the coastline.
The scale of the project to construct wind turbines to the north and south of the Oga Peninsula in several years will generate about 1.3 million kilowatts of electricity, enough to supply 930,000 households. There's a reason why a shipping company like NYK Line is investing in renewable energy.
We ourselves are aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in our services. We're in a time when customers pay attention to such efforts. We are very aware that we can't survive unless we take action in this area.
Ms. Serita and her team take pictures to reflect that idea in the integrated report.
It's hard to express everything in words. By showing it a bit visually, I think people will gain a deeper understanding. So, pictures are very important in my work.
A key point in preparing integrated reports is the visual aspect. She says providing not just written information but also photographs is essential in providing a clearer picture of their work to readers. Next, Ms. Serita visits a spot where the offshore wind turbines can be seen up close.
Wow, they're big. They're really impressive when you see them this close.
Can you see the yellow sections on each of them?
Yes.
The pillars have a yellow section. They have what appear to be ladders to where NYK Line plans to carry maintenance workers by ship in the future.
People and various materials for the wind power business will be transported there. This is precisely the indispensable role our company will play.
NYK Line is developing a specialized ship called a CTV that can safely transport workers to the wind turbines even in stormy conditions. They are working towards this new business one step at a time.
By seeing firsthand this ESG management initiative being solidly carried out together with our stakeholders in the local area, I was able to gain a deeper understanding. And I want to make sure it's included in the integrated report and communicated to as many of our readers as possible.
Next, we turn to a company that has been struggling to compile its integrated report amid the pandemic. That company is ANA Group.
Hello, nice to meet you.
To find out more, we spoke with Izumi Kobayashi, an external director of ANA Holdings. She has served as an advisor to numerous major corporations in the past. The airline industry suffered a big hit from the global COVID pandemic. And they say that had a significant impact on their integrated report last year.
In our business, planes need to fly even in unexpected circumstances. In terms of financial aspects, even as the future remains completely clouded, the integrated report covers the entire business, and so regarding the merging of the financial and non-financial aspects, my impression when I read last year's report was that the financial side was a bit weak.
In last year's integrated report, they say financial information was sparse amid the unclear outlook due to the pandemic, and they instead focused more on non-financial information.
If you look at this page about the strengths of people at ANA Group, you have, for instance, sightseeing flights on the Airbus 380 and in-flight weddings. These are clearly the ideas of employees, but it expresses our strengths in terms of non-financial activities in these difficult times.
In its integrated report last year, ANA highlighted its activities in human resource development, reporting on various events conceived by employees. So, what's inside this year's integrated report published in September? We spoke with company president and CEO Koji Shibata about what ANA Group wants to convey.
Last year, meaning 2020, the company just started restructuring its business, and it was still difficult to paint a clear picture of the future. But this year, those efforts are starting to be reflected in your financial figures.
If you look at the report, you'll see cost reductions in the hundreds of millions of dollars in certain categories. For example, we paid attention to showing information on how we're going to continue such activities to enhance profitability and stage a recovery.
Last year, they stuck to abstract commentary as they were unable to clarify how their financial performance would improve in figures. But in this year's integrated report, they published specific numbers for cost reductions, communicating the results of their restructuring efforts to investors. They also say they've put more emphasis than last year on non-financial aspects in the report.
understand you've also written substantially on human resources.
Protecting employment is a policy that we've endorsed numerous times at board meetings as well. In particular, we believe personnel costs should only be the final option. Until that stage, we want our employees and managers to be very happy. And one policy was temporary transfers and relocations.
The airline industry faced an unprecedented crisis because of the pandemic. As earnings plummeted, the company made the decision to loan its workers to various other industries to protect their jobs. Before their transfer, the company held a sending-off ceremony where Mr. Shibata spoke directly to employees.
I would be very grateful if all of you can engage in your work with the idea of acquiring skills for the future and broadening your abilities through new experiences. If there's anything you're concerned or worried about, please reach out to us at any time. You can even email me directly, and you should feel free to discuss any issues whenever they arise.
Mr. Shibata has never wavered from dialogue with employees. One of his top priorities in management has been human resources.
As our flights restarted, people are returning to the office, and they've learned many things while away. The stories I've heard are very encouraging, and I believe that will generate added value for the DNA of the new ANA. In our integrated report this time, we've featured the voices of cabin attendants on the ground after returning from their duties at other companies. I believe the content of the report directly communicates our ideas to readers.
They also included specific figures, such as on the frequency of communication between management and employees, as well as job satisfaction. The report spells out the importance ANA places on its stakeholders, especially its employees, and the strength of its human resources. One group that companies are now focused on as readers of integrated reports is students. We visited Hitotsubashi University. The Tsumuraya Research Group has been studying integrated reports and holding discussions with students since last year. Why did they decide to focus on integrated reports? Professor Shoichi Tsumuraya explains.
I've been asked by companies if I could have my students read the reports and comment on them. Some companies now have the idea of multiple stakeholders, and students are being included as stakeholders of future generations. The idea for starting this course came from the request of companies who wanted to hear what students felt about their reports.
Why are companies seeking feedback from students? We spoke with Hisato Kozawa, the CFO of Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, about why they asked the Tsumuraya Group to research integrated reports.
We have a large number of individual shareholders who are gradually increasing in age. We want to bring in young people who are entering working age as shareholders. In that sense, we want to hear their honest opinions about how they see our integrated reports and incorporate those opinions. And ultimately, there's no denying that if there's an opportunity, we hope it will lead to an increase in the number of young shareholders.
While companies are working to draw in students and future generations of stakeholders, Mr. Tsumuraya says integrated reports have also become a tool that students can use for job hunting.
Students choose from 3 to 4 companies in the end, and ultimately get offers from 2 or 3, and it's hard to decide among them. And I think integrated reports help students make that final decision, as they can better understand whether a company's vision aligns with their own.
And what about the students?
By reading the integrated report of a company I'm interested in, I can get a feel for the corporate culture and philosophy. And so it's one more source of information we can use when choosing a company to join.
Integrated reports also appear to be making an impact on young people and future generations.